What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Here we are with another reaction. In this one, we have why invading Australia is nearly impossible. Before we dive into this video, if you guys happen to enjoy, please don't forget to smash subscribe, get a video a thumbs up, and let's find out what's so impossible about invading the land down under.
A land of deadly animals, endless deserts, and people who casually call you mate while holding a beer in one hand and a venomous snake in the other.
That is legit insane. A beer in one hand and a venomous snake in the other. That's Aussies for you. Absolutely fearless. Absolutely fearless.
Australia might seem like a sunburnt paradise, but what if instead of coming for a vacation you came with an army, troops, tanks, warships, the whole invasion package? You might think you're ready, but here's the truth. You're not.
That would be so awful. Trying to get off and get stuck like that would be horrible.
Invading Australia isn't just hard, it's practically impossible. Not because the military is the biggest in the world or because the population is armed to the teeth, but because the entire country is a fortress of nature, distance, and sheer bloody-minded resistance.
Facts. I mean, the fact that like they walking alpacas, bro. Alpacas. Who else just walking in the street? I'm not saying people don't got alpacas, but who else just walking down the street with an alpaca?
Yeah, you look like one you fuck with.
To begin with, just getting there is a nightmare in itself. Australia sits in the middle of nowhere. It has no land borders, and the closest major powers are thousands of kilometers away. You don't walk into Australia, you need to sail or fly across massive stretches of ocean. The Pacific and Indian Oceans aren't exactly known for their gentle waves and easy navigation either. So before your soldiers even set foot on land, they'd have to brave unpredictable weather, rough seas, and a coastline that offers very few safe strategic landing zones. And even if, by some miracle, you manage to land, congratulations, you've reached the beach. Now you face the second boss battle, the interior. Because Australia isn't just big, it's massive. It's a continent disguised as a country, spanning over 7.7 million square kilometers. That's a whole lot of terrain with very little in between.
Yeah, you get stuck in the middle of nowhere and you're dead. Like, that's it. Like, that's a wrap. I don't know if y'all watched the In-Betweeners when they got stuck out there, bro. They were about to die. They got saved.
Most of it, barren outback, endless red dust, dry, scorching heat. Try moving tanks and supply lines through that and see how long your force lasts.
Not long.
You may have taken Sydney, but you're still thousands of kilometers from Perth. And in between lies the kind of landscape that breaks even the toughest logistics officers. But let's say you push through. Let's say your Navy punches a hole in Australia's defense and your forces land and advance. Now you've got another problem. Australia's military might. Sure, it's not the largest force in the world, but the Australian Defence Force is sharp, modern, and extremely capable. With state-of-the-art F-35 fighter jets, advanced air defense systems, and a submarine fleet lurking silently beneath the waves, Australia doesn't need to match you in numbers. It just needs to bleed you dry with precision and patience. And don't forget the alliances. Australia isn't standing alone. It's part of AUKUS, alongside the United States and the United Kingdom. That's two nuclear powers that would respond aggressively to any threat.
That would be an absolute wrap, although right now the U.S. is a little less reliable than they were a couple months back. So should be able to, but we don't know. But I think the U.S. will be there for Australia still. I do. I hope so.
Not to mention intelligence sharing through the Five Eyes network and regional support through the Quad Alliance with India and Japan. Invading Australia isn't just picking a fight with a country, it's poking the entire Western Alliance system in the eye. But the real kicker, even if you somehow bypass the ocean, beat the military, and survive the desert, you're still not safe. Because now you have to deal with the civilians. Australians aren't exactly known.
Now you got to deal with the civilians. That's too funny, but it's true.
For their submissive nature.
Nah.
This is a country where people laugh in the face of danger, tell venomous snakes to bugger off, and treat deadly animals like mildly annoying roommates. Rural Australians are already armed, and urban Australians are already angry.
Stupid bitch! How do you get fucked at all?
Mainly about housing prices, but you get the idea. You won't just face resistance, you'll face full-on chaos. Improvised militias, sabotage, and beer-fueled insurgents turning your occupation into an endless headache. And then there's the land itself. Australia's infrastructure is built along the coast and can be cut off with strategic precision. Knock out a few highways and rail lines and supply chains become impossible to maintain. The outback isn't just empty, it's unforgiving. It will cook your soldiers by day, freeze them at night, and leave them wondering why anyone thought this invasion was a good idea in the first place. Now, here's a historical reality check.
It just ain't small. It ain't small trying to invade the land down under. Leave Australia alone because it's too much work. An invasion there is too much work. You got too much to deal with.
Even during World War II, Japan, a nation with a powerful navy and air force, didn't invade. They bombed Darwin, snuck submarines into Sydney Harbor, and tested the waters. But even at their peak, the Japanese military looked at Australia and said, yeah, nah. It was simply too big, too distant, and too costly. And that was back when Australia's military was significantly weaker and alliances were thinner. Today, the cost of invasion has gone up exponentially. Oh, and did I mention that invading Australia means declaring war on its allies? The United States wouldn't sit that one out. Neither would the UK. Not only would you be fighting the ADF, but you'd also be staring down American aircraft carriers, nuclear submarines.
You know, once they pulled up to the party, you can go ahead and turn it around. You can go ahead and call it a wrap. And you'd be done for.
Marines, long-range bombers, and a whole lot of cruise missiles raining down like the outback sun. It's not a fight. It's a death sentence. But let's humor the idea for a moment. Let's say you're leading a nation with unlimited resources and zero regard for human life. You mobilize a massive naval fleet supported by stealth bombers and cyber warfare teams. Your ships approach the northern coast. Maybe Darwin. It's a long, exposed stretch with relatively sparse defenses. Seems like a good idea, but the moment your ships appear on radar, Australia's surveillance systems kick in. Satellites track your movements, submarines silently reposition, fighter jets scramble, and AUKUS command channels light up. The first wave lands. Maybe you secure a foothold, some coastline, a port. It feels like a win. But now, your troops are bogged down in brutal heat, low on supplies, and facing constant aerial and naval harassment. The cities you want are hundreds of kilometers away across empty desert, and every attempt to move inland is ambushed by small mobile units that vanish before you can retaliate. Meanwhile, the Australian public mobilizes. Rural communities fortify. Civilian militias spring up, guided by retired soldiers and veterans. The cities you want to capture turn into concrete jungles of resistance. And as you try to consolidate your gains, American and British forces begin arriving. Carriers, bombers, commandos. Your fleet is now being hunted by nuclear submarines. Your air support is contested. Your command structure starts to collapse under the weight of attrition, overextension, and a hostile population that just won't quit. What began as an invasion turns into an occupation, and then into a disaster. Before long, you're not wondering how to win. You're wondering how to get the hell out. In the end, invading Australia is not just a bad idea. It's a logistical, strategic, and psychological death trap. It's a country designed by nature, shaped by toughness, and backed by alliances that ensure any invader would be swallowed whole. So if you're thinking about it, don't. Visit instead. Have a beer, take a selfie with a kangaroo, and try not to get chased by a cassowary. It's much safer that way. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments which country we should look at next. Until then, cheers from down under, and remember, never mess with a nation that lost a war to emus and still stood tall.
Never mess with a nation that lost the war to emus. Nah, I absolutely love that video, and I think man's is spot on. Like leave Australia alone. You don't want smoke with the land down under. It ain't worth it. That's all we got. Let me know what you guys think of the video in the comment section. If you enjoyed, don't forget to subscribe, give it a thumbs up. Check out the next. I'll see y'all next time.